This video is made for adult collectors because for legal reasons this turns into a submarine, just like in Siege. Definitely a submarine. Okay, little PSA for when you're selling toys and stuff, you know? You're selling used ones, right? Please clean them. That is from the previous owner and I have no idea what that is. And it's very weird and unsettling and we're just gonna not look at it and I'm gonna clean it after this video. It's just like a toothbrush and some isopropyl. Clean your toys. Masterpiece is a line I know a lot of my audience doesn't favor, but hear me out. This thing, when I found it for a decent price, feels a lot like a mainline figure in complexity, but that's what makes it so fun to me. It's easy, and that's partially due to just how Shockwave is from G1, but they managed to make a large masterpiece you can flip back and forth in a short amount of time that it's become a very large fidget toy. This was the first thing I got at TFCon LA this year for about $100 boxed, and honestly, that's a steal. And he looks plain. But I don't mind here. Masterpieces with a lot of paint on them from my experience, like chip. But this, because there's barely any paint, it's more inviting to mess with. There is die cast in the feet, so he has a very nice stable base, even though the feet are pretty skinny. He stands quite well. The hose, the way they did the hose is like the most clever version out of any Masterpiece scale Shockwave I've seen. It's a spring, but it's also a string on the inside of the spring, so it doesn't stretch. And unlike the rubber hoses you get on a lot of other Shockwaves, it won't deteriorate. Rubber can tense up and then flake or start to melt under your skin oils. This though has been holding up so well and it's long enough that it doesn't want to get in the way of any posing. Head sculpt is fantastic. It's super basic, but the dark shade of paint inside the face helps make it feel deeper than it actually is. And the light piping is insane. I know there are other third-party Shockwaves out there that have light up eyes and this doesn't, which is unfortunate, but it does light up in other places. The Canon does, but like mine's dead. The battery's dead, so that's great. These Decepticon symbols are stickers that were put on by the previous owner. He does have a chunky backpack. Shockwave has always had a large one, but this one is quite large, but it is removable in a sense. You can take off like the outer shell and then there's like a smaller backpack on the inside, and then this like thing you take off it's not part of the alt mode. It becomes a rather clever storage container for the rest of the accessories. You can fit almost all of them in here. I store the extra hands in, but the little gun doesn't fit because you get a lot of extra hands. I don't know if there's any other Masterpiece out there that comes with swappable hands, but here you get fists, clear fists to match the OG toy, regular gun, clear gun, and I love those options. Oh, and you get a saluting hand because of like the one time he does that or something. I've only remember him doing it once. He is super solid for the most part. Again, this was a boxed but not sealed copy, so the previous owner had their fun with it before selling it, and it is a tad loose in some areas. I can fix it, I'm just lazy. So surprisingly, there's quite a lot of stuff this thing does, which is really cool because, you know, I like that, but it's funny that it's on Shockwave of all people, and this guy doesn't have a waist joint. Anyways, so to start with, the head is on a ball joint. You get quite a nice bit of tilt out of there, and then you get a lot of up and like hardly any down, but there is a little hinge back here, so you do get some down with that. However, I've noticed if you push right here, sometimes it's not going to do it. Oh, there it goes. I was going to say it's not going to do it now because the camera's on, but the head does come off every once in a while. And again, I just think that's because this is old and used and been used quite a bit. The shoulders can do a full 360, and then the hose does get in the way of this one. But this one, you know, full 360. You do have your bicep rotation and just a little bit over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. Does have a wrist hinge and the hands can open and close. On the saluting hand, you get wrist swivel, but you also can bend it in so he can like slay if you want him to do that. You can, you know, Shockwave slay. He does have a waist joint and it can rotate about that far either way. This does get in the way of that, so you have to unpeg this to make the waist move, but then you just plonk it back in when you're done. But yeah, it does kind of lock the waist in place. But what's very cool is one click, you get one click crunch forward, which likes to pop itself back out every once in a while. And then you have, if you unpeg this, one click crunch back. I don't know why he has an ab crunch, but he does have an ab crunch, so there is that. Hips can go forward that far. The hip skirts do move out of the way to accommodate. They don't really go back that far. The hip skirts can move out of the way there, so you can get a nice outward motion, but this is not ratcheted. And because, you know, die-cast feet, used toy, it's not the most strong thing in the world. He does have thigh rotation, under 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and that's honestly the only thing I'm really kind of upset about, is I wish this could bend more, because it's a Masterpiece toy. That's a bit weird. And then he has ankle tilt, and then the feet can go forward and they can go back. So I like the foot articulation. And I like the what are you doing? Get your foot back in line. I like the articulation on this actually quite a bit. The only thing, again, is that knee joint. I wish it was a little bit better. I can tighten the loose joints. I've just been too lazy to fix that. But yeah, he's pretty nice. You can do like a lot of really cool sort of shooting poses. One thing I will note about the shoulders though that I forgot to mention is they're supposed to move out there, right? But they like to move out here a lot more because this ratchet is softer than this one. So yeah, I really enjoy messing with this thing. There are nicer looking MP scaled Shockwaves out there, like the Plus version of this, the Fans Toys or the Cloud 9 one, but this one feels the most inviting to want to pick up and mess around with, and that's what I want the most out of something like this. Now, I did mention earlier that the transformation isn't hard in the slightest, even for a masterpiece that's this large. It's quite fun. All right, let's make him a Submarine. It's a laser pistol. So to start with, we're going to take the head and just push it really hard into the torso. It takes a lot of force to do that. And when pulling the head back out, right, you want to just get your finger in here and somehow pull the head out. But then you need to like clip it past this, and it can be really tight to do. And I notice I pop the head off every once in a while doing that, but oh, come on. Oh, but now that we got the worst part out of the way, take the arms and bring them up like that. Not all the way up yet, because this armature, this entire die cast armature needs to come around and peg into here, as well as wrap around the cannon and the hands. So you just get all that together. Oh, one of the arms is the wrong way around. The arms will peg together inside there, and you got that. Then you fold this section down on either side, and that's pretty much the front of the cannon done. So for the back or for the middle here, you want to compress this, open this trap door up and fold the trigger out. Then we're going to take this section here, bring it up, and then bring this up and just leave it there like that. So for the legs, you rotate the thigh swivel 180 degrees. You come back here, you open this up, you bring this down. There's that little bit of dookie in there from the previous owner. You bring this down and around, and it will fold up and tab into the front of the crotch on both sides like that. You take this piece, you open it up and fold it in, then fold the foot around, and that's one side of the handle basically done. So again, open this up, bring this around, bend it in, fold this section in, flip up the foot, and then we're going to peg all of this together. And once you get that all squeezed together, take this piece, you bring it around, take this piece, bring it around. These little bits underneath will come in and lock all of that into place. And then for an extra lock into place, you bring that down. Oop, the trigger's folded away. And there you have laser pistol mode. Oh, sorry, submarine mode. There we go, submarine, legally distinct. And there it is in submarine mode. Jokes aside, this is laser blast mode and it looks very spot on. Like, I have no complaints here other than the hand feel. Mainly the handle space, because my adult hands holding the trigger, it is a bit awkward. And this is like not a kids targeted product, it's a collector targeted product. So the fact that it can't fit my adult hands is just kind of strange. It also sits awkward because it's a laser blaster. However, remember that storage box he came with earlier? Yeah, its main purpose is to hold the thing upright in laser blaster mode. Coming with a dedicated display stand for something like this is genius, and I'm surprised none of the other ones thought to do this. Not even MP36 with how expensive that thing was. The hose doesn't have to come off or anything, but you can remove it if you want a completely clean blaster. It's just a very good looking alt mode. I love all the clear insert parts inside the barrel. It's one of those masterpieces I recommend to people when they ask for a good starter MP. This, Skids, Prowl, MP10, MP Bumblebee 1.0, those are all good ones to start with because they, to me, offer the full masterpiece experience but aren't super de-duper complex or ridiculously expensive. It's something I definitely recommend if you can find it for like 150 or less. But that's been my look at Masterpiece Shockwave. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.